The history of Ferrari. From dreams to legends. Intro. Sound of a roaring Ferrari engine, Formula One cars racing, quick cuts of the Ferrari F40, 250 GTO, LaFerrari, and Schumacher lifting trophies. Background epic cinematic music. Ferrari. A single name that sends shivers down the spine of car lovers, racers, and dreamers all over the world. A brand that is not just about cars, but about passion, speed, prestige, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. From the streets of Modena to the podiums of Formula One, Ferrari has become the very symbol of excellence in both motorsport and luxury. But how did it all begin? Who was the man behind the prancing horse? And how did a small workshop in Italy turn into the most legendary automotive name in the world? This is the story of Ferrari, a story of dreams, struggles, triumphs, and timeless legends. Chapter 1. The Birth of a Dream, Enzo Ferrari. Old black and white images of Modena, Italy, early 1900s. Our story begins in 1898 in Modena, a small town in northern Italy, where Enzo Anselmo Ferrari was born. From a young age, Enzo was fascinated by speed, power, and the sound of engines. His father, Alfredo Ferrari, owned a small workshop and introduced young Enzo to the world of mechanics. At just 10 years old, Enzo attended his very first car race in Bologna. The sights, the sounds, and the thrill of the track left a permanent mark on his soul. He knew deep down that his destiny was tied to racing, photos of WWI soldiers and airplanes. But life was not easy for Enzo. His father and brother died during the Spanish flu pandemic, and he himself barely survived after serving in World War I. Despite these hardships, Enzo refused to give up on his dream. In the early 1920s, he began racing for Alfa Romeo, quickly building a reputation as a talented driver. But Enzo's true gift wasn't just behind the wheel. It was his ability to organize, manage, and inspire a racing team. By the 1930s, he founded the Scuderia Ferrari racing team under Alfa Romeo's banner, fielding cars and drivers in competitions across Europe. The Scuderia became a powerhouse, but Enzo wanted more. He didn't just want to race cars, he wanted to build them. Chapter 2. Ferrari is born, 1947. In 1939, Enzo left Alfa Romeo and founded his own company, Auto Avio Costruzioni. At first, he wasn't allowed to use his own name due to contractual obligations. The company produced machine parts during World War II, and only in 1947 did Enzo Ferrari finally unveil the very first car to wear his name, the Ferrari 125S. It was powered by a 1.5-liter V12 engine, a signature that would define Ferrari for decades to come. That same year, the 125S entered its first race and won. Ferrari had officially arrived. Footage of the Ferrari 125S and old racing clips. And with it came the famous emblem, the prancing horse. The story of the logo dates back to World War I. Italian fighter pilot Francesco Baracca painted a prancing horse on his airplane for good luck. After his tragic death, his parents suggested that Enzo adopt the symbol for his racing cars. Enzo added a yellow background, the color of his hometown, Modena, and thus the most iconic logo in automotive history was born. Chapter 3. Racing Glory. With its heart set on racing, Ferrari wasted no time entering Formula One, the pinnacle of motorsport. In 1951, Ferrari won its very first Grand Prix with driver José Froilán González. Just 1 year later, Ferrari celebrated its first Formula One World Championship with Alberto Ascari. The 1950s and 1960s saw Ferrari dominating not just in Formula One, but also at endurance races like the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Ferrari's cars were fast, beautiful, and unbeatable on the track. Rivalries with Maserati, Mercedes, Ford, and later, McLaren turned every race into a clash of titans. Footage of Le Mans 1960s, F1 races, iconic Ferrari cars. Yet for Enzo, racing was not about fame or money. He once said, "I build engines and attach wheels to them." For him, racing was pure passion, a test of man and machine against time itself. Chapter 4. Building legends on the road. But racing alone could not sustain the company. To fund his motorsport ambitions, Enzo Ferrari decided to build road cars, luxurious, fast, and exclusive machines that wealthy customers could buy. And so began a golden age of Ferrari road cars. The Ferrari 250 GTO of 1962 became one of the most legendary cars ever built. Today, it is considered the most valuable classic car in the world, with some models selling for over $70 million. Then came the 275 GTB, the Daytona, and the unforgettable Testarossa. These cars weren't just vehicles, they were rolling works of art, combining Italian design with raw performance. Owning a Ferrari became the ultimate status symbol. Chapter 5. The Fiat Partnership. In 1969, facing financial difficulties, Enzo Ferrari struck a deal with Fiat, selling them a 50% stake in the company. This partnership brought stability and allowed Ferrari to expand production. While Fiat took care of the business, Enzo remained focused on what he loved most, racing. Ferrari road cars continued to grow in prestige, appearing in movies, in the garages of celebrities, and on posters adorning the walls of young dreamers worldwide. Chapter 6. The Last Era of Enzo Ferrari. By the 1980s, Ferrari had already become a global icon. Then, in 1987, Ferrari unveiled what many consider the greatest supercar of all time. It was raw, aggressive, and blisteringly fast, the last Ferrari personally approved by Enzo himself. A fitting farewell to the man who had created an empire. On August 14, 1988, Enzo Ferrari passed away at the age of 90. The world mourned the loss of a visionary. But his legacy lived on in every prancing horse that rolled off the production line. Chapter 7. The Schumacher Era. 1996-2004. After Enzo's passing, Ferrari entered a new chapter. In 1996, Ferrari signed a young German driver named Michael Schumacher. What followed was one of the most dominant eras in Formula One history. From 2000 to 2004, Schumacher and Ferrari won 5 consecutive world championships, cementing Ferrari as the most successful team in F1. Millions of fans around the world wore red, waved the Ferrari flag, and celebrated as the prancing horse reigned supreme. Clips of Schumacher, podium celebrations, Ferrari F1 cars roaring. It was during these years that Ferrari became more than a car. Brand, it became a religion. Chapter 8. Modern Ferrari. In the 21st century, Ferrari continued to push boundaries. Cars like the Enzo Ferrari in 2002, the LaFerrari in 2013, and the hybrid SF90 Stradale redefined what supercars could be. In 2015, Ferrari separated from Fiat Chrysler and became an independent, publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange, listed under the ticker symbol RACE, a fitting name for a brand that lives and breathes speed. Even as the world moves towards electric and hybrid technology, Ferrari remains at the forefront, proving that passion and performance will never go out of style. The company even unveiled its first-ever SUV, the Purosangue, blending practicality with Ferrari DNA. Chapter 9. Ferrari Today and the Legacy. Today, Ferrari produces around 12,000 cars per year, keeping its exclusivity intact. Models like the Roma, Portofino, and 8 and 12 Superfast continue to combine elegance with breathtaking performance. In Formula One, Ferrari remains the most successful and legendary team, with over 240 Grand Prix victories, 16 Constructors' Championships, and 15 Drivers' Championships. But beyond the statistics, Ferrari represents something greater. It is a symbol of human ambition, a reminder that dreams, when pursued with passion, can create something eternal. Conclusion. Dramatic ending. Montage of Ferrari cars through history. Enzo Ferrari's portrait. Formula One victories. Fans waving Ferrari flags. From a young boy in Modena who fell in love with racing, to the most powerful symbol of speed and luxury the world has ever known. Ferrari is not just a car company. It is a story of passion, determination, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. As Enzo Ferrari once said, "The best Ferrari is the one that has not yet been built." And so the legend continues. The story of Ferrari is far from over. Sound of a Ferrari engine fading into silence. Screen fades to black with the Ferrari logo.